Hey, I'm Mike Curtin. This is the Brew Daughter Podcast, and today I'm with Karl Hughes of Brigade Brewery in Cape May, New Jersey. Karl, how's it going, man?
Going good. How are you?
All right. Thank you for taking out the time to be here. Uh, I know you're on vacation right now. I appreciate you doing this.
I don't get very many vacations, so yeah, it's
Uh,
not a big deal.
I'm sorry.
Listen, anything for a brother fireman.
I appreciate it. You have no idea. Uh, so yeah, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like where you grew up, and I know what you did, firefighter, but just tell me how it like kind of transitioned into you and owning a brewery.
So I grew up in Lower Township, Cape May County. It's right outside the city of Cape May. My family, I'm 13 generation. We've been there a pretty long time. So from there, graduated the local high school, which is now a lot bigger than it was then, and the whole 9 yards. And we decided that we were going to, I guess, take a noble profession. And I started as a policeman. Don't fault me for that. And then
No
I,
worries.
I realized real quick that I didn't like that, so I went into the fire department, uh, transitioned over, and I spent some time doing aircraft rescue firefighting up in Morristown, not far from where you're at, across the river there.
Right.
I did 3 years on the airfield there. I did EMS for 6 years. I don't know why I did that, but I did it. I did the police thing, like I told you, and then I went out west and fought forest fires a couple times in Oregon and Washington State
Very cool.
in the late '90s, early 2000s, and then I got hired by the state, uh, believe it or not, on a psychiatric institution hospital grounds, and they hired me as an assistant institution fire chief, and then I transitioned into fire chief after 5 years, and then I retired. And that's my pretty much career. Besides 30 years in the volunteer company, you got to have the side gig going too.
Right, right.
So that's it. And then I decided when I was retiring, I said, just ironically enough, we're down in South Carolina right now. We're outside Columbia on Lake Mary. And it was here where I decided that I was like, I could have a brewery on the lake with boats coming one way, cars the other way. I call it the Lake Mary Brewery. My friends make barbecue and sweet tea and all that. I had this whole big vision. And it ended up transitioning, not here, but when I got back into the firehouse, the guys were like, "Oh, we want to open Rita's Water Ice, or let's open up Primo's Hoagies," and I said, "I don't want none of that."
Yeah,
And I
right.
turned to my buddy and said, "I want to do a brewery." And my brother said, "Well, I can engineer the stuff." And one thing led to another, and we started brewing in the garage. And 6 months later, we opened the brewery.
Very cool.
So now we 5 years. It'll be 5 years November.
Right. 2017 you opened, right?
Yep, yep, November 2017.
Very cool.
I mean
Uh,
that's the short story of it. There's a lot more intense than that. But that's the short story.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, I'll be asking you some questions about it along the way. So, um, during that process of opening, you never owned a brewery before. Uh, from the moment you came up with the idea to open to the moment you actually opened your doors, what was one of the hardest things for you?
I think the hardest thing, honestly, and you're a fire guy, maybe you understand this. Business is ruthless, and we weren't prepared for that.
Right.
We're the good guys. We're used to we're coming to help them, and everybody loves us, and the whole 9 yards. And we got into business, and before we even got the doors open, other businesses were trying to sabotage us, and the town was doing different things because they were connected to the business people, and
Right. Right.
it was not a good situation. So we muscled through it, being we've been there a long time, I guess, and knew enough people, and we had a good vision, and we were honest and truthful. We didn't. So it's what we are. We were like, well, hey, I don't understand why you're doing this to me. Why can't we all work together? There's enough for everybody.
Right.
So that was the hardest part. Once we got through that and got the doors open, then it was up to us to make it get to where it is from there. And we had some bumps in the road. I mean, we had two partners originally with us that are now not with us. So we had to go through them issues. We had
Right.
uh, they made us go back through zoning and planning all over again, and get engineers and things and all for a patio on the front. And that was pretty tedious. And then we had a pandemic. Now we have an economy and it's terrible. Like it's just been the last 5 years been beating us
Yeah. Right.
around. But we were able to buy a new system,
Very
get out of
cool.
the toy system we were in, and now we can. Matter of fact, my son who's sitting next to me now, we were just going over the canning line. We're going to get a small little canning line so we can start getting cans out in people's hands. So we've come a long way, but it's been a tough road. And I think for business in general, most businesses and everybody I ever talked to, you always struggle. It's capital. Capital's always the problem.
That's true.
There's never enough,
Yeah.
and then everything dumped back in. So and as you grow bigger and bigger, it's bigger bills, bigger problems, bigger. You know how that works. So
Right.
so yeah, it's not easy. My advice would be anybody who wants to open up a brewery. First of all, don't do it in New Jersey. That's the first advice. Go to a state that's friendly
Right.
and wants to work with you.
That's pretty wild.
I
You talk about
mean,
like
it's tough over here.
people being ruthless. I think you can elaborate on anything specific that kind of sticks out.
Well, yeah, one guy owned a bar up the street. The other ones thought they were sneaky and they were trying to open up a brewery, and we beat them to the punch and didn't know it in town. So he was sat on the zoning board. So like they were all just beating us into the ground, and
Right.
I kind of realized what was going on, and I made some phone calls, and my friends were like, "I don't think that's what's going on." Then about 3 weeks later, they called back and said, "Oh yeah, they're trying to hammer you," and then that was the end of that. They kind of squashed it.
Yeah. Everybody's out for their own type of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they realize now we're not even hurting them. Actually, we brought business to their businesses.
Of course. Breweries usually bring
So,
people to an area, so it's kind of crazy, right?
yeah, but people think they have the monopoly, I guess.
Right. Right, right, right. And what was that exact moment for you? Um, that aha moment when you decided that we're doing this, we're opening a brewery.
I'll probably get in trouble for this, but probably when my wife thought it was just a hobby, and we kind of made a pinky shake. She wanted a coffee business with her brother, and I said, "Good, I'm going to do a brewery with my brother." And she kind of laughed and went, "Yeah." And then I came back and I said, "Hey, by the way, we put money down on a building," and she was like, "What? I thought this was just a joke." I'm like, no, pinky
It-
swore. Remember?
I got dreams, lady.
Yeah.
I make things
So the
happen.
coffee business we don't have no more. We sold out of that, and we
Right.
still have the brewery. So
Well,
that was probably the aha.
and both of them. I mean, I'm drinking coffee right now, and I'll probably be drinking beer in a couple of hours. So, I mean, I kind of live both of
Nice.
those. So, I completely understand
Yeah,
both chose those routes. Uh, and speaking of family, how do you make family and business work for you?
how many? So my brother and I, um, we're twins. I'm 4 minutes older than he is. So it's him and I. It's my son now who's taking up a lot of the bulk now. We're getting a little older and slowing down some. He worked in Tailgate Brewery in Nashville. It's one of the biggest breweries out there. So
Very
he
cool.
learned a lot out there. Brought his um, knowledge and thoughts in all home. So now we're getting a little more creative. My brother and I were kind of old school. English style beers and things like that. He's bringing the creativity to it, which is what it needs. Um, so I think we're transitioning some right now. I mean, we're still going to be the same brewery we always were, but we want to market out a little bit to some different things now. I think we got to be honest. I think we got stagnant. My brother and I, we got a little stale because we've been doing this for so long, and we started to get a little tired, I guess, and worn out doing all these jobs and beat up by pandemics and everything else. So
Need
he's
some new
bringing
blood.
some life to it. Yeah, he's bringing the life back to it, rejuvenating me. Even my brother at times, he's getting him a little hyped up.
Right.
It's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. New ideas and everything, mixing it up for sure.
He knows the younger crowd. That's a good thing.
Yeah. And where did you find the capital to open a brewery?
Believe it or not, I before I retired, I borrowed from my pension
Okay.
because that's an easy way to do it. Borrow from my
It's
pension.
a
I took my
scary way,
deferred
but an
comp.
easy way, right?
Yeah, I took my deferred comp and
Right.
my low sap that I had from the volunteer fire company, and wherever I could get it, I took my part from there. And I'm sure my brother did his thing. I never really asked him, and our other two partners, I think one of them had some money from a medical suit, and somebody and Mark, and I think Mark had divorced where he split a house or something. I don't. really quite know. I can't remember. It was something to that effect. But everybody's money came from somewhere. We didn't go to a bank. We used all our own personal money.
Right. Nice. I'm sure that was a little bit of a scary situation for you, for all of you. And
So I
when
don't think I'll
open,
ever get it back.
what
It is
happened?
what it is.
You might
I
not
don't
never
think
give
I'll
it
ever
back,
see
is
it
it?
back. Yeah, it's buying a Harley. You don't get your money back.
Exactly. Uh, and what do you think something that you never thought you were gonna have to deal with when opening a brewery?
Oh, man, that's a good question. There's so many things that come up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I expected the legalities of it, but at times I didn't. I wasn't expecting uh, the people that regulate things to be as tough on us as they are right now.
Right.
You guys in New York, New York, you can have food, you can have other spirits, and most of Pennsylvania can, Delaware can, New Jersey. I mean, they beat us into the ground. We can't have live music. You don't allow 25 events. You got to tell the ABC, then they got to approve it. And
Wow.
then if you want to have something else, go to the police chief, and then he's got to approve before they approve it. And can't have food trucks, can't have coffee, can't put flavors in beers, can't. It just keeps on snowballing. So
That's
right now we're trying. It's crazy. It's crazy.
that's
I mean,
pretty wild.
the Brewer Association of Pennsylvania has wrote a big article and said anybody wants to jump the river, come on over. We got our arms wide open waiting for you.
Right. Yeah.
So we that hurts us, and it's a shame because the same people that tried to stifle us in the beginning when we were opening are the same ones that got a bigger lobby than we do, that go around and use that lobby to crush. So I got it on a small level locally. Now I'm getting it on a larger level,
You would
through the
think, but
state. So same premise.
right. You would think by now everything would changed and kind of leveled up with the surrounding states as far as laws go.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
New Jersey, New Jersey's been known to be the way they are. I'm
yeah.
trying to be nice, say anything out of line. It is what it is in New Jersey. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. It's a little strange.
Hopefully, we get some people that get a little smarter and wiser, come out and make a difference. And we got some legislators that are working real hard. Senator Testa down here in Cape May,
Right.
and a couple other ones throughout the state are working on some legislation when the session comes back here, probably this week maybe or next week, to start working on this brewery issue.
Well, I hope that works out in your favor for sure, man.
I hope so.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Uh, and what do you think's one of the hard adjustments you had to make from when you opened till now?
There's a couple things. I mean, I was running the fire department. It's somebody else's business basically. Now it's now you find yourself turning lights off here, and whoa, what's this, what's that? It's a whole different world. I'm not saying we weren't prideful, because we're very prideful to be in the fire department. We took pride and all, but and I always acted like it was my place, but deep down it wasn't mine.
Right.
This is mine. My investment. This represents me. Everything about it. So when people come there, I want it to be the best it could possibly be. Clean, everything looking good. No mistakes. I mean, things happen and all, but I want them to walk in and we're trying to give them a little taste of what we live. You
Right.
know, I always say, and I don't mean rude, but civilians. Trying to give the civilian a taste of what we live and how we live. When they come through the door, we're so relaxed and so easy going. I mean, people ask for something, we're like, yeah, it's over there on the counter. Go get
Right.
it. Hey, can I do this? Yeah, just don't destroy the place. Have fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just the firehouse.
Yeah, pretty
And that's how we
much.
run it. Yeah,
That's
you
how
run
it
it
is.
like the
Make yourself at home.
Yeah, I mean, if I got to wait on you, just go get it. You know.
Exactly.
So that's how we try to. We've got a real friendly atmosphere. We have a lot of patrons that have come in and met each other now and have become friends, and we have a different vibe because of the way we are and who we are. The lives that we live. So it always kind of shocks some people because they're like, we don't understand. Like, like your vibe is totally different than everybody else's. Well, I don't know. It's what we are. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's I don't know. It's in you. You're on the job. It's just what you are.
You're right.
And at any given moment, pipe band. You got pipe bands walking through the door, and people are like, "Oh, the pipe band's here." Yeah, whatever. Driving by, they were headed down the road, and they decided to stop in. And, it's one of those kind of joints.
Yeah, have a cup of coffee, sit down. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Any given day, there's guys sitting at the end of the bar talking about, I was in Jersey City, and I'm FDNY, and I'm Philadelphia, and I'm, from out west. We even get them from all over, and they start talking shop, and it's like being in a firehouse, hanging at the bar.
Yeah. I went to Colorado Springs for the fallen firefighter memorial for one of the guys that passed from 9/11 related illness, and man, it was overwhelming. I mean, you met guys from all over
Oh,
the
yeah.
country, and everybody's cool as hell. Everybody's there for the thing, and it's just it's you're in awe of everything. It's
Yeah.
just you
So
can't
we're
believe it.
we're honorary members of the Camden County Emerald Society Pipe and Drums. My brother and I. At one point, I did play the pipe, so now I'm on the tenor drum. He's on the tenor drum,
All right,
and they invited us to the National Fallen Firefighter Memorial in Emmitsburg every year, and we're the only brewery in the country that are affiliated with the Fallen Firefighter Foundation. Matter of fact, we're doing an event at Wildwood Convention September 16th with the Fallen Firefighters. Our beer will be there, and we're allowed to use their logos and different things. Sign a contract with them and all. It's
right,
called an affiliation, is what
right,
it's
right,
called.
right.
So we raise money on that and send it to them and all that. So I know what you're talking about. When the first time down in Emmitsburg for the memorial with the pipe band, uh, I guess maybe you have to be on the job to understand. I mean, the
Right,
chills that go through your body
right.
and the magnitude of it all. It's it's something to
It's almost
you
like
don't want to see it,
you
but
can't describe it. You can't describe the feeling.
no, I can't. I don't. I can't. You have to be there to understand,
Right,
and you have to have it in your heart to understand
right.
what's going on.
Just I was holding
So,
the flag for the firefighter from my house as like representing him, and at the end everybody walks through the line of pipe and drums, and it's just so loud and so crazy, and you're just like it builds you up. It's nuts. Like you said, you can't explain it. Out of control. It's out of
yeah,
control, but
yeah,
it's awesome.
it is. It is. Again, it's sad that we have to do those things
Right. Of
uh,
course.
at all, but at the end of the day, our brothers and sisters deserve that send off.
Right. Agreed. Agreed. Uh, and what are some qualities that you possess that make you a good business owner?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough question, isn't it? Um, I think I have a good sense. Um, they call me, I don't know. They call me Walter White, the patrons.
Walter White.
I don't know. They're like he's the brains of the operation. My brother, he's the other guy. I
Right.
kind of come up with some creative things and marketing and design things and all. I'm
Okay.
good at the firefighter portion of it because that was my life. So it comes easy and natural to me to be able to design these things and all. I mean, what a fireman like? They like food, they like beer, and they like nostalgia. Got to have the best nostalgia, best shirt, best pin, best coin. Where'd you get that? Oh, I got that Bunker Brigade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I kind of use that mentality when I'm doing these things.
Right.
So I think that's probably my best quality besides being pretty personable and friendly. I'll go out to everybody in the bar and just, hey, how are you? Where'd you come from? And thanks for coming in and shake hands and thank people when they're going out the door. And, I've got many connections that way. And, hey, can you ship me something? Yeah, I'll ship you that. Don't worry about it. And guys will ship stuff back. And
Right.
I, I think that's probably my best quality. Business wise, yeah, I struggle a little bit on the business side of it, but I'm able to get through it because, I ran the fire department, so I try to run the business like the fire department. But there's times where it needs a little more than me, and my wife's very business, so then I got to go to her and have her get me over that crest a little bit.
Right. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah,
But we're
man.
still here, so I'm doing something right.
Yep. Keep it going. So, I'm sure there's been some mistakes or things made, over time that you've done that you wish you could have redone. What's one of those things that you wish you
That's
could have
always,
went back and redone before it happened?
yeah. That's that, that's life. There's a lot of things in life I'd like to go back and redo. I'd like to go back and redo my career. It went by too fast.
Yeah, right, for sure.
Uh,
But as
you know,
far as your
but
brewery goes,
listen, yeah, but you know as well as I do, we don't dwell on that stuff. We move on because the next job's in front of us.
right?
And we don't really look back. We might talk about things and all that, but we don't really look back. We're looking ahead. What's going to happen next for us?
Okay,
What do we got to prepare for?
right. Gotcha. It's a good way. Good way to think. I like it. Uh, and I'm sure you've met a lot of people in the beer industry now, being in the beer industry. Um, Maybe even before you got into owning a brewery. But who do you think's inspired you most in the beer industry?
When we first started this in the garage, we were watching YouTube videos of a guy named Joe Fisher. Excuse me. He was brewing in excuse me. He was brewing in his garage, and I believe Joe was an engineer, so he had made all these different things. Like North Jersey, Joe was from uh, around Hackettstown. So we watched him, tried to learn from him, and emulate him, and do the different things. He eventually opened his own brewery up there in Hackettstown. It's called Manskirt.
Man,
It has a
screwed.
kilt and the
Right,
whole. And we never met Joe, but some friends of his had come to our brewery about 2 years ago, and I had given them a challenge coin. They said, "You take us back to Joe and tell him the story that I just told you."
right.
And they told Joe. Joe sent some pictures back and a nice little thing and everything. Also, I don't really know him. He don't really know us, but he was the one that really got us going.
Big inspiration for you guys.
And then after that, we kind of started following locally. We followed Slack Tide because they were growing. They were a year or two before us, so they were growing at a nice pace. So we were trying to just kind of learn from them and piggyback a little bit to move us along.
Gotcha, gotcha. And how do you define success?
It's funny you say that because it isn't the money for me.
Right,
It's when I see people come in there and they're taking massive amounts of beer out the door with them. That's you're doing good when they're taking cans or growler cans or growlers, excuse me, filled and all that. Those are the types of things. And it's like the stuff on the walls. We have memorabilia from all over. I mean, some of it's probably worth tons of money if you eBayed it and all that stuff. But it's the little things that mean the most, like uh, the pictures my buddy Bobby gave me from 9/11 on my 50th birthday, Kurt and I's 50th birthday,
right,
that are on the wall of him and his crew, New Jersey Task Force 1 Squad 7, I think it was. Those pictures I know that mean the world to Bobby, that meant a lot to me. The certificate on the wall from Chief Spiegel congratulating us. When your peers do that for you, then you've come full circle. The business is one thing, but it all comes together there. But they're the things that mean the most to us.
right,
I guess because we're fire guys. We're not business guys. We're fire guys.
right. Yeah. The acceptance of your peers and the admiration of your peers is it seems to be
Yeah,
important. It really is. It's kind of crazy though, right? Yeah, I don't care what these
yeah. They're
guys
looking.
think, and then you get it, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, yeah. The little things. When the guys come in there and they're like, "Oh, look, we got the patches all over the walls." I think I sent you pictures of the brewery.
Yes, you
Patches all over
did.
the wall, looking for theirs, or hey, mine's not there. You put it up. Yeah, give it to me now. We'll glue it up on the wall. Those things like that. That means a lot to them.
Right.
That they're recognized.
I'm definitely gonna make my way down there, man. That place looks really awesome. I like it. I love the way it's set up. Um, and is there a moment that actually sticks out for you, uh, for owning your brewery that it's kind of like a kind of made you stand back, like this is going in the right direction?
I don't think there's just one. There's probably a few of them. I mean, simple little things again for me. I'm a simple guy. I just go out and sit in one of the chairs and act like I'm a patron and
Right.
say, "What I like this place? Do I like it? What don't I like about it? Or what do I like about it?" And hang with the people and drink a beer or two, and I'll get the feel for it. And I'll go, "Oh, okay, this is cool. I like it."
Right.
So those kind of moments, we've had some cool aha moments where we've had Our anniversary last year was a good gig. We had the Cam County Amherst Pipe and Drums. We had a Ben Franklin impersonator. We had Congressman Van Drew and all the other dignitaries and friends and family. That was a really good time. Some of our St. Patty's gigs have been some of the best St. Patty's gigs around.
Awesome.
So
I
yeah,
bet.
I've had some good fun times. Now we own a fire truck. We got the 1977 MB Mac. So we're having some good fun with that, riding all around, hooting and hollering.
Very cool.
They're fun times.
Buffing
Uh,
it out.
in the brewery, you have ups and downs, um, but some of my fun, better times are with laughing and drinking and hanging out with patrons, and just the stupid stuff that comes up out of the blue. You know what I mean? They're the
Right.
best.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff I'm sure that comes out of it, but a lot of stress as well. How important is a mental break from brew? Do you get to take those, and what does that look like?
I don't get them as often as I should, but um, like now, my father-in-law said to me yesterday when we FaceTimed. He said, "I could see the smile on your face." He goes, "You needed this." And I'm out there catching catfish and other fish and hanging with my son and my daughter. And now that I'm older and they're a little older, it seems like they want to hang with me a little bit more. They go to that stage where they got their own life,
Right.
which is a lot of fun. And working with my son now is a lot of fun. So I think there are things now. My granddaughter means a lot to me now, so I'm going to spend some more time with her. She's going to be 11 months old. So spending time with them now means more. I got older, and I realize there's more important things now than, I guess, my own selfishness.
Right. My dad always tells me a story about how my grandfather used to tell him all the time is, you think you love kids? He goes, just wait till you have grandkids because you're gonna love them 10 times as much. And he's like, get out of here, Dad.
Oh,
He's like, now it's like, I totally
no,
see it. I totally see it.
no, no, it's true. This she can't do no wrong with
Yeah,
me.
exactly. Perfect game, right? Uh,
Yeah, and I'm not gonna get, what am I gonna get? 20 years maybe with her.
right.
30 if. So I want to spend as much time with her as I can.
Of course. Of course. Uh, and what in the brewing industry, as a whole, since you've been open, because for about 5 years now, uh, what do you think's been the biggest change? Obviously, COVID aside, the biggest change beer wise in the industry.
No, I think personally, they overdid the IPAs. They just went so crazy with them that I think that now we're starting to see a little bit more of a transition, slowly, but not. IPAs are still very popular, but you're starting to see a little bit more of a transition to the more English style beers and the fruitier beers and stuff like that. I mean, the IPAs are always going to be popular. Don't get me wrong. Don't shoot me, crowd.
Right.
But I think there is a slight transition now, going back to a more traditional beer. Um, you know, it's leveling out a little bit more. I mean, for a while there, they were just everything was an IPA. I mean, no
Everything.
matter where you went, you put an pale ale in your mouth, it was an IPA. You know what I mean? It's no, seriously. So because I know
I,
when we
I, I
started, we
agree.
said we're
I completely agree with you.
we said we're going to make a cream ale, we're going to make a hefeweizen, we're going to
Right.
make a pale ale, and we did all that. And after we made our cream ale, then the next guy made a cream ale around town, and then somebody else made a cream ale, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. So you started to see a little bit of a transition. And
Right.
I think each brewery kind of follows a little bit of somebody else. I mean, let's face it, this isn't rocket science. They've been making beer since the Egyptians, so there's no
Right.
secret in recipes or anything at all. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, right.
just a tweak here or there.
Exactly. And what's next for your brewery? Where do you see the future of Bucket Brigade going?
It's definitely going to be distribution for us. The time has come to get the product out in people's hands throughout New Jersey, excuse me, into the beginning portions of Pennsylvania, where a lot of our fan base comes for the summertime because we're a seasonal resort, seashore
Right.
resort. That's the plan. I mean, we live on three sides of water. We're on a cape, So
Okay.
when we were 6 brewery, the tasting room could do very well. Now, there's 10 or 12 breweries or whatever there is. So you're starting to get a little bit of probably market saturation and different options and things. And also, uh, the idea is to get the product out into distribution. It was all along. We just couldn't get there money wise at the time. Now we have the system to be able to do that and the means to do it. Matter of fact, we were just looking at the canning machine this morning, my son and I. So that's the plan. After that, I don't know where it's going to go because that was my goal to get product in people's hands.
Right.
And I said I'd give it till I'm going to be 55. So they got 5 more years of me. And after that, I'm calling it a day.
Good for you.
That's
Official
it.
retirement. A second
And
retirement,
that'll be
rather.
the brewery business. So that's enough.
Right. And I know you gave us some advice before, but if somebody come to you and asks you for some advice for opening a brewery, what tell them?
Well, first things first, if you think you have enough money, double or triple that
Okay.
because it's never. That's the first thing. The other thing I would advise people to do that some don't do, and they don't want to spend the money. We did. Get yourself legal counsel. We have an ABC lawyer. We have a regular lawyer. We have a trademark lawyer. Like I didn't play around. I wanted to make sure that everything was taken care of. Uh,
Right.
so maybe I went a little overboard, but I wholeheartedly believe that our niche that we have and our name and everything and all that needed to be protected,
Right.
and we also have some protection through other means. Like you're dealing with the ABC, you should have a lawyer. You're dealing with alcohol, you
Of
should
course.
have a lawyer.
Yeah. Got to cover all bases.
Yeah.
Sure. And did you have a funny story for us?
So about 2 months ago, maybe around the beginning of the summer, we're out on the patio out front, and we have a telephone pole in the corner of the parking lot, and we're just hanging out there. It was me and the former mayor and another lady in town and a couple other people I can't remember, and the place was pretty well packed, mostly regulars, full of locals. And out of nowhere, the transformer blew, and I remember, it was so loud. I can tell you how loud it was,
Yeah.
and in a flame, I saw out of the corner of my eye, and I could hear the stuff raining down. I took off. I just sprinted. I took off sprinting, and my friends just stayed there. They just stood there. Everybody in the brewery said, "Oh, Karl came running through. He was like a lineman. He was just running people over through here, through there. Kind of owner are you? All that kind of crazy nonsense. We all laughed
I
about
was
it and
trying to get a
everything. Well,
hose line.
but my natural reaction was, I'm one of them kind of guys. I'm a reactionary guy. Just goes to show. Fire department. These guys are civilians. They just stand there and stare at me. I'm like, something's bad. Get out of here. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I got mocked for about a week on that one.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Call you a think for yourself, or I'm sure all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and no, he's so afraid. Look at him. He was running all over the place, big bad farm, and all that crazy nonsense.
Right.
I took it with a grain of salt. I laughed and joked with it, and I cut myself up a couple times with him, and we moved on. But looking back on it now, and I mean, I think I did the right thing. I don't know. It's going to
Yeah.
stand there. Something's wrong. Get out.
Should have just said you want to get a hose line. Help everybody out.
That was the next thing. The department had to come down there, and then the police department
I'm
came,
sure.
and then that big joke and a laugh, and I was a part of the brunt of that. And whatever. It's not the first time.
Yeah, I know. I deal with it all the time. We were talking about a buddy of mine and I were talking about it the other day, how you could just stop in the firehouse for a second and guys will all be sitting at the kitchen table. And the moment you walk in, it's like all eyes on you. You're going to get the brunt of every joke, whether it's something you're wearing, what are you doing here? When are you coming to get a free meal? Like it doesn't matter. You're getting abused.
But that's what makes it the greatest job in the world.
I agree. I agree. I love it. I love it. And
I wouldn't have it any other way.
me neither. So basically, I came up with the name of this segment because of being a firefighter. But this is a segment called Quick Fire 5. It's 5 quick questions, beer related. Ready?
Try, give it a whirl.
All right. Somebody comes into your brewery. What's one of the beers you recommend they try?
Probably the cream ale, something light and easy. Start off easy.
Cream ale. Okay. Uh, do you have the name of it? He's got a name?
That's called Crowbar Cream Ale.
Crowbar Cream Ale. Okay. Favorite brewery other than your own?
I'm gonna take the fifth and say I like them all.
Okay. Deal. How
Don't,
how
I
about
don't
this
want.
one? How about this one? We'll scratch that one. If you can collaborate with any other brewery on a beer, who would it be?
I have a few, but I I would really like to collaborate with my friend Slack Tide.
It's like that. Okay. Uh, Favorite style of
That's
beer?
not to say I would. Listen, that's not to say I wouldn't with any of the others.
Of course.
But like we we were kind of piggybacking, like I said earlier, and following them along. So I just think it would be pretty cool.
Gotcha. Favorite style of
My favorite style of beer. I'm a dark beer guy. I like porters, stouts, black ales, things
I,
like that.
I
So
love
that's
I love me a good stout.
yeah, me
Uh,
too.
Favorite name you've come up with for one of beers?
Oh man, Pro- I, this sounds weird, but probably the Scotch bonnet,
Scotch
the
bonnet.
Scottish ale, Scotch ale, because everybody thinks it's a pepper, but it's not. It's
Right.
Scotch bonnet is there's little Scotch bonnet and big Scotch bonnet. They're the two creeks you cross before you get into Stone Harbor. So that one always gets a lot of talk.
All right. And you have one keg of beer to hold you over for a 2-week quarantine. What beer are you choosing? Could be any beer.
The, any of the beers we make, or any of the ones that are on tap right now.
Any beer in the world. Basically your desert island beer.
Oof, man, that's a tough one. There's some good beers out there.
Uh,
Um,
how about
it got to be a dark beer.
one of your favorites?
One of my favorites, I would probably say the porter, the pump primer porter.
Pump Primer Porter. I like the name. Awesome. Well, call it I got for you, man.
Listen, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I'd like to do it maybe sometime. Maybe we can do something in person at the firehouse. See, at the
Yeah,
brewery,
same
where
thing.
we can see some of them. Yeah, where we can see some of the stuff around and a little bit better atmosphere and all that. Get some photos and things and all. And come down, hang out on the fire truck, and ride around,
Absolutely.
hoot and holler, and blow the siren. Nobody bugs us around town. The police are pretty cool because they know who we are and what we're doing. So,
All right.
it, come down and just act like a crazy fireman, and have fun.
I'm with it, man. I'm absolutely with it. Once again, thank you. Thank
And
you.
bring some of your boys with you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure I know a couple of guys immediately that would be all in on this. But thank you for I know you're on vacation. I know you don't get many, so appreciate this greatly. You taking out the time to do this.
Oh no, no worries, man. I do have a question. I was watching Bar Rescue while I was out here, and there was a place called Jack's
That's right.
Fire Department.
That's right by my firehouse. Yeah.
My wife and I want to go there after watching Bar Rescue. Man, it looks cool.
It's a cool little spot. Yeah. It's not too far from it's in Sunnyside. So it's right there. It's right by me. But yeah, man. Uh
She has a building in Paramus. She takes care of a building in Paramus. So when she goes up next, I'm going to go up with her, and we're going to shoot over there. So I'll text you if we come over.
Absolutely. Yeah, swing by the firehouse for sure. All
Awesome.
right. I'm Mike Curtin for the World Order Podcast here with Karl Hughes of Bucket Brigade Brewery in Cape May, New Jersey. Thank you, Karl. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, thank you guys. Take care now.